Greetings and welcome back to the No Channel. This is Bernadette Johnson. I'm also known as Keziah or Kizzy. And today I'm coming to you. I'm on camera this time. Typically, I'm not on camera, but I decided to come to you on camera today because I just have a little message on my heart. I don't know how long this is going to be. I'm just going to freestyle today. So I really don't know how this is going to turn out. Normally I have some notes or some things in front of me. This time I don't have anything. So I'm just going to speak from my heart today. And as you all know that we're in an election year, and of course the two candidates are Donald Trump for the Republican Party, and then you have Kamala Harris for the Democratic Party. And of course, Biden stepped out of the race, so Kamala Harris, which is his vice president, she took his place. Because, of course, as we know, Biden, he was getting senile and everything, and he yielded to the pressure to drop out of the race, which he did, and so Kamala Harris took his place, and this appears to revive the Democratic Party. Now, let me say first and foremost, I'm not for either party. I'm not for the Republicans. I'm not for the Republicans, and neither am I for the Democrats. So let me go ahead and lay that out right now. I'm not in support of either one, because there are some things about the Democrats that I agree with and disagree with, and there are things about the Republicans that I agree with and disagree with. Okay, so with that being said, let me continue on with my message. So the reason why I'm bringing this message today, it was some things that's been on my heart for some time. Ever since Kamala Harris, she entered the race. And I was thinking, of course, since she's, I guess what we'll say, a part-time black woman. I mean, she does have some black ancestry on her father's side. And even though he has, white ancestry too, and black ancestry, and who knows what else. And the East Indian is on her mother's side. But to some, they will still consider her a black woman. And of course, they're now trying to push her as a black woman. And I believe that is to motivate the blacks to vote for her. So they're going to push her as a black woman now. But anyway, they pushing her as a black woman. And of course, this is, in a way, this is sort of a deja vu moment. Because I'm thinking about how it was when Obama ran, even though he's not all black either. He's, biracial. But to most, he would have been what he would have been considered a black man. And of course, there were racial tensions and the reviving of racism when Obama ran for president. And when he won, oh my goodness, I remember all of the insults and the memes and the racist jokes that came out, about him, about his wife, and even his daughters. So now we have another, partially black woman, running, double minority. And once again, you're seeing the revival of the racism that we saw when Obama ran. However, something with the Kamala Harris is a little different from with Barack Obama. Because with Kamala Harris, it's not just a revival of the racism that we see, anti-black racism that we see. What we also see is the ramping up of the gender war, specifically the gender war in the black community. And of course, and if you have been on social media for some time, you should be aware that there's really a wrapping up of the tension between the so-called black man and the so-called black woman. And this, with Kamala Harris running for president now, this is it's starting to ramp up even more, where you have Of course, black women, a lot of black women are pushing for Kamala Harris. There are some black women that don't like her either, but of course, you have a great number of black women pushing for Kamala Harris, and you have black men. There are black men pushing for Kamala Harris too. However, it cannot be ignored that there's a significant number of black men that are pushing for Trump, that are backing Trump. And at one time, it puzzled me why there's so many, black men supporting Trump. Of course, traditionally black people were, mainly, for pro-Democrat. But this time you have a lot of people, a lot of black men, especially, and some black women, but mainly black, a good segment of black men supporting Donald Trump. And I, would wonder about that. And some of the reasons, that I hear, and even myself, I think some of the reason is that I think a lot of black men admire Trump's so-called machoism, his bravado, and also in the earlier days, Trump came off as more of a Democrat. You have the rappers rapping about Trump and this and that. So maybe that's some of why a lot of black men admire Trump, and also he's for the businesses and all of that, and black men they support it, admire someone who's self-made, which Trump was born into money. He wasn't self-made, but he kind of come across like he's self-made. He's a businessman, and I'm thinking that's why a lot of black men admire him too. But this is the thing that's been concerning me is now, with this Trump versus Harris, of course, you have the racial component of the matter. This is going to cause a lot of racial tensions. And of course, it's talk of a civil war taking place if Trump loses. They're talking about a race war may take place if Trump loses. So I don't know what's going to happen. Only y'all knows what's going to happen. But the thing is, if there is going to be a so-called race war, if Trump loses, I don't know who's going to win. I don't know who's going to lose. And then you have this whole gender divide in the black community. Where is that going to put us? Because if we're going to have the Trump supporters, the MAGA people attacking us, the black community, because if Trump loses and Kamala Harris wins, they're going to blame us. But we have this other component that we're facing. We have this tension between the black man and the black woman. Now, if there's a race war, where is that going to put us? Because right now, we're divided. There's a lot of division between the black man and the black woman. All you have to do is just go on YouTube, go on Facebook, and you will see endless arguments, endless debates between the black man and the black woman. So as you can see, this thing is twofold. We have a twofold, war that's taking place. And there's an old African proverb that says, if there is no enemy within, the enemy without can do no harm. And as you can see, we have a lot of division within. So if we're warring amongst ourselves, how can we win the war with those from outside that are warring against us? So some things the divide will have to be healed, but in order for the gender divide within the black community, in order for it to be healed, it's going to first have to come to a head. This war between the black man and black woman is going to come to a head. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to come to a head. It's going to have to come to a head because there's no way we can win this race war if we're warring among ourselves. The black man and the black woman we're warring among ourselves. So I don't know exactly when this fell on my heart, but that was when I was hearing about the revving up of the racism, of anti-black racism, with the whole Kamala Harris versus Donald Trump. And I was thinking, but we're at war among ourselves, so how are we going to win this war? Y'all only knows, and y'all knows, how to deal with his people. So I'm not saying this out of fear. I'm not fearful, because I know Yah is in control, or as Christians would say, God is in control. But I have to admit that I have been thinking about this, and thinking about that this gender war, this gender divide between the black man, between the black woman, has to come to a head. And I don't know if you have watched any of my videos, but I know in one of my videos in my series on Carly Russell, I mentioned about the role black women are going to play in these last days. And it didn't escape me that you have Kamala Harris, a partially black woman, running as president against a white man. There is something behind that. I don't know exactly what, but there is something behind that when you have a woman of color running for president against an all-American white man. With Kamala Harris being a partially black woman, gone further than any black woman has ever gone in the presidential race. This is definitely some meaning. Just like you had Obama, a partially black man, running for president, it also had a symbolic meaning. Even though his black side was not black American, he was still black. And I believe with Obama being a partially black man running for president, it represented some type of revolution that was going to come down the road. Because see, what was once the head would be the tail. Once the tail would be the head. Those who were on the bottom will be on the top. And I also believe with Kamala Harris, a partially black woman, represents a revolution of some sort. So I just wanted to, give you all a little something to think about, because this is a multi-layered war that we're dealing with. But in order for us to win this race war, we're going to have to be united as a people. How can you win when you have black women and black men warring against each other, but yet you have the outside warring against us? We can't win like that. So we're gonna have to come together, and Yah Almighty is going to heal this gender divide. I don't know how he's going to do it, but in order for him to do it, it has to come to a head. It's going to have to come to a head. So I would just encourage you all to watch and pray, and I'm going to watch and pray as well. So this is what's on my heart, and I hope you all think about it, you all meditate on it, and please feel free to share your thoughts on this matter, and even some suggestions what you think we should do to help heal this gender divide. But we're in some serious times, and we're headed into some even more serious times, because this is the most interesting election that I've seen in my life. And I don't know how it's going to turn out. I don't know what's going to what's going to come about due to this election. We shall see. So hopefully, you take this little message to heart. This was just a brief word that I wanted to give. This is just some things that were just on my heart that I wanted to share. And please feel free to share your thoughts in the comment section. Once again, this is Bernadette Johnson from coming at you from the No Channel. And thank you for watching. And until next time, be blessed. Shalom.